Hello everyone, in today's class we are going to see how to create frame by frame animation in Adobe Photoshop. I have already created part 1 and part 2 regarding frame animation using Strava logo. I will share the links in the description. Watch that too. Let's start. Let's start creating YouTube logo animation frame by frame. Before the creating frame animation, go to Windows, select the timeline option. Now create frame animation. In the first frame, make the rectangle 1 and the triangle 1 0 opacity. In the second frame, select the rectangle 1 and give 25% opacity. In the third frame, make it as 50% opacity. In the fourth frame, make it as 75% opacity. In the last frame, make it as 100% opacity. Now create two static frames to make the animation smooth. In the 8th frame, select the triangle one and make it as 100% opacity. In the 9th frame, select move tool and move it little bit like this. In the 10th frame, move it outside. In the 11th frame, move it this side of the shape. In the 12th frame, move it inside little bit like this. In the 13th frame, move it in the center. Let's adjust using arrow keys. In the 14th frame, move it little bit outside. In the 15th frame, outside like this. Do the same process again and again to make the triangle one animation. Finally, in the 30th frame, let's create static frames from 30, 31, 32, 33 for the smooth animation. Select the 33rd frame. Using shift, select the first frame, give 0.1 seconds and give play. You can see a smooth YouTube logo animation. This is how we create YouTube logo animation frame by frame in Adobe Photoshop. Let's create frame by frame animation for Google Mic logo. I have already created the logo and placed the layers separately. Rectangle 1 in the ellipse shape is being created and duplicated in the name of rectangle 1 copy to hide the rectangle 1 shape to animate. Group 1 has two shapes. You can see there. I have reduced the opacity for that. Rectangle 2 is a square shape is being created and duplicated in the name of rectangle 2 copy to hide the rectangle 2 and to animate that shape. Here we are going to animate the duplicate shapes to reveal the original shapes. And group 2 shapes, we are going to increase the opacity and we are going to create the process like this. So let's start creating the frames one by one. Let's select rectangle 2 copy, create frame 2 and use arrow keys in the keyboard, move the shape. Create frame 3 and move 2 steps. In the fourth frame, reduce the opacity to 0. Rectangle 2 animation is done. Let's select group 2 and create the fifth frame, increase the opacity to 25% and the sixth frame, increase the opacity to 50%. And in the seventh frame, increase the frame opacity to 75%. And in eighth frame, let's increase to 100%. Group 2 animation is done. Let's select rectangle 1 copy and create 9th frame and move 2 steps. And in the 10th frame, move 2 steps. And do the same process till 18th frame and 19th frame, move 2 steps. That's it, our animation is done. Now let's select the first frame and shift select the 20th frame, give 0.1 second and press play option. You can see the logo animation. Create the document. Go to File, New and create the document size which I have given. Go to Windows and select Timeline option if it is not available in your interface. This is how the timeline option looks like. Now how to change to video timeline to frame by frame animation. Let me zoom in. If you go there, that's called video timeline. If you select that again, you will get frame animation timeline. Now let's see how to create Google Assistant logo. Google Assistant logo I have already created and I have shared as a shorts. I will share the link in the description. Watch that too. It's very simple to create Google Assistant logo because it has only circle and you have to just pick the color using eyedropper. Now let's start creating frame by frame animation for Google Assistant logo. First check all the shapes which is available in a separate layer. Let me select the first ellipse 1 shape and reduce the opacity in the first frame. Create a new frame over there and on the second ellipse copy. You can see there. Now create a third frame and switch on the third shape. Create the fourth frame and switch on the fourth shape. Create the fifth frame and switch on the Google Assistant name. So you have to do like this. In all these frames, ellipse 1 should be available. So for that, what I'm going to do is select each frames, the ellipse 1 shape and increase the opacity to 100. Select the third frame, increase the opacity to the frame till 5. Right. Now select the first frame and if you see here, we need continuous frames for animation. For that, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create the second frame and select the ellipse 1 shape and increase the opacity to 25%. You can see there. Now create the third frame and increase the opacity to 50%. Create the fourth frame and increase the opacity to 75%. Create the fifth frame and increase the opacity to 100%. If you see here, for each frames, we have to create 5 next frames. So that is the process which is going to be next. Select all the frames and give no delay option. For better understanding, what I am going to do here is select each frame from 6 to 9. Select those 4 frames and I am going to give seconds like 0.1 second for the 6th frame. And 7th frame I am going to give 0.2, 8th frame 0.5 and 9th frame 1. So now if you click the motion tune option, selecting the 6th frame, and you can see there the option called next frame in the tween width, and frames to be added is 5. Now just give OK. Created 5 frames. Now for the identification, you can see there 0.2 is the next frame which you have to create next 5 frames. So select that frame and do the same process. Select motion twin and give OK. Go here, select the motion twin and give OK. Go to the last frame, select motion twin and give OK. Now select the 29th frame, use shift and select the first frame, give 0.1 second and give forever. If you play, we will get frame by frame animation in Photoshop of Google Assistant logo. I hope the video was useful. Thank you.